Thank you very much.
Our so-called partners in peace. Well, they have released 10 American sailors, but they held them for nearly 24 hours. In response, our government thanks them. But to hear the president talk about Iran last night, he doesn't think that they're a problem. With me now, Texas Republican Congressman Louie Gohmert. Congressman, can we or should we even attempt to trust Iran?
No, this is a country that's never been trustworthy. They do not keep agreements. They have not since they declared war on us, basically, as some of the Muslim leaders in the Middle East have told me when I visited there. Look, these guys have been at war with you since 1979. How do you not get that? They cannot be trusted, and they have been rubbing this administration's nose at it in their violations, in their untruthfulness. They haven't even signed the deal, Charles. And so this taking of these American sailors is it's a bonanza media-wise for Iran, because this shows the world, and it will, and it'll open some eyes around the world, that this president, even when they improperly take and hold our soldiers and have their hands behind their head, this president still sucks up to those who mistreat America. It's a terrible message to be going out.
You know, you mentioned your trip to the Middle East. More recently, we've seen this sort of saber rattling between Saudi Arabia and Iran go up a couple of notches, to the point where some are now predicting maybe there will be a confrontation, some sort of military confrontation. Can Saudi Arabia count on us to have their back?
No, and that's something the president said in his speech, and I got my copy. But when it comes to an important international issue, people of the world do not look to Beijing or Moscow to lead. They call us. That used to be true. He used to be right about that. But under this president, as you will recall, you've had airstrikes in Libya, where Egypt and other of our allies will not even tell Washington they can't trust them. Israel has found out they can't trust the United States or this administration with secrets, because they get divulged. Around the world, that message has been made clear. When he says surveys show our respect in the world is higher than when I was elected office, that is a figment of his or somebody's imagination that wrote the speech. On the House floor, we can't say somebody has lied who's been elected. But as I've said before, I know the president wouldn't lie because that'd violate the House rules. But whoever wrote that speech for him sure was lying.
Yeah, or found a real obscure survey somewhere. Before I let you go, where do we go from here? National security, the #1 issue on the minds of Americans. It feels like we're just doing barely enough with ISIS outside of this country. Many wonder why we just don't go out and once and for all defeat them, crush them, kill them, do what it takes to win the peace outside this country and make us safer in this country.
Well, a lot of that has to do with the misunderstanding of this president of our history. But the lesson of Vietnam was not what he said last night. The lesson of Vietnam was that if you're going to commit American men and women in harm's way, you give them everything they need to win and then bring them home. And he didn't learn that lesson, and that's why in Afghanistan, after the war was over, under President Bush, we lost right around 500 military men and women, precious lives. Under President or Commander-in-Chief, we've lost 3 to 4 times that many during the peace, because he does not give our people what they need to win. Yeah. So the message needs to be made clear to this administration and to the world. We are going to have leaders, maybe not in the next 11 months, but we're going to have leaders who will stand up and keep our word, use what we need to win, and you can count on it. It just is going to be a little while before it happens.
Let's just hope that more of the world doesn't slip away and more of our preeminence doesn't slip away either. Representative Gohmert, thank you very much. We always appreciate you on the show.
Thanks so much.